Okay, everybody, welcome to you again, and we are starting our roundtable. Today we will talk about how fraudsters attack their victim in current days in COVID period, and we will talk about the phishing and other malware spare phishing attacks that we see right now and will see in the nearest future, and how to deal with this. Okay. First of all, let's speak about the forecast for the next period. And as you know, uh, we made our forecast in the October of 2019. And this forecast is not working because the situation, the global politics and the situation has changed. Here is some mark on their screen. It's of course it's a forecast for Q2 2020, not for 2022. It's too it's too long to wait till 2022 right now, and we cannot predict how it will go on. And definitely we all hope that COVID wouldn't last for 2 more years. And okay, let's first of all speak about what we see now and what we are waiting for. So first, APT. We see that the number of targeted attacks are increasing, and moreover, it's not only for enterprise, it's for small and medium business either, because different companies are going to remote works and they are trying to build the infrastructure for these remote works, but they don't have experience how to do it. They don't check how it is done, and that's why there are plenty of attacks happening right now, and that's why there are more and more victims of ransomware attacks where the money is being asked from them to recover the files and so on and so on. Insiders, because many people are being dismissed from the companies, and that's why they are trying to do something wrong to their co-workers and to the companies, and they're trying to steal the data and to sell it somewhere. That's why we see a lot of insider-based attacks either. Social engineering. That's really a problem. That's really a big problem, and even more, I can tell that there are two parts of this. First of all is, of course, the malicious attackers are trying to create new types of phishing attacks, to create new types of stealing money from the customers. New threats are appearing, but we see either the second wave is that psychologically people, when they are at work, they are more concerned on their cybersecurity. They are more thinking of what they are doing. And when you're sitting at home, you think that, okay, what bad can happen? And you are not so motivated to I don't know, to think about different types of threats. You just can incidentally put the link and go to some sites and infect your PC because it's your own PC, or because you're in your home, your safe environment. And that's really wrong, and that's like a false. That's false, because being at home, you're more at risk because you don't have the different security systems on the border, and your PC is not so secured by the corporate IT and informational security stuff. That's why at home you're in more risk. And other stuff like espionage, right, like ransomware. We see different number of increasing fraudulent free services like video conferences, like delivery applications, like different traveling services. So all of them are trying to steal your information and your personal data and your money. So let's going on.
Yeah, it's Alexander Kalin, sir. Hello again. We are going to show you cases that we saw with our own eyes, either with our customers and cases that we received to our different feedback forms on our main site, groupib.com. Let's start with the case which we personally received on our publicly available for different complaints email. It is response@groupib.ru. You see it on the upside of this screen. Here the fraudsters decided to offer us to buy antiviral masks and related products at a very competitive price. Yeah, it is the same screen.
I mean, the microphone is here.
Ah, cool, thanks. The site was very well made and it adapts to any user as it changes the language of the site based on the user's location and the settings of its browser. Additionally, loading fake comments from satisfied users with typical names for this area, for example, Russia, Belgium, America, it doesn't matter. In parallel, there is a visualization of the check for the availability of goods. They're reserved for a short time, of course. They begin to rush you. This is a standard tactic of such attackers. And this is the same site. Once you understand that it is very profitable and you need to buy faster these things, you give your bank card details to attackers with the help of this simple form. Of course, you will not see your money or goods anymore after you leave your bank details here.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that you can imagine that this site is really done very well. I mean, it has their different types of design for mobile and for desktop application, and you know that's really strange, but we see it in different phishing attacks. It's targeting, for example, famous brands when the phishing site is really is much better done than the original site of the brand. I mean, without the mistakes, without some errors in graphics and so on and so on. And probably even when you see the site is really good done or something was updated and it doesn't bother you anymore with your device and you don't have to, I don't know, look for something there, and that's the way to think. Is this site is okay? If this site is okay, I mean, if it's done well, maybe it's a phishing site.
And probably they have several native speakers to create such sites. And I want to say about the infrastructure of such a campaign. If you are a network administrator or a security officer in a company, you can dig deeper and look at the infrastructure of the attacker using as our so-called graph tool. We used it only inside the team, and last year we made it available for all our customers. These tools allows you to connect sites based on such signs as an IP addresses, SSL or TLS certificates, owner information, SSH keys, and dozens of other parameters. On the screen there is an example for our site with the sale of masks and soaps. You can immediately proactively block these sites with similar content inside your company's network, so as not to endanger your employees. We see some questions from.
Yeah, what are the percentage increase in targeted attacks this year in comparison with previous quarters? You know, we generally, to be truth, we haven't calculated that yet. I mean, we see that the number of attacks are increased, and definitely, as I already told, to the small and medium business, like in 20 or even more percentage, but I can't tell you for sure the numbers because we haven't calculated it. In general, we calculate it for some period like 2 quarters or the year, and we just don't know. We see the increase, and it's a mass increase actually.
We are going to do this soon.
Yeah.
What next? The previous case was with sale of masks, but here is other fraudsters offered them to us for free. But if earlier it was a site with fraud. Here we can already see the attachment with malware inside. Although the manager in the letter is Chinese, our Russian clients received the letter actually mainly of this malware spreading. Inside it was a pretty famous spyware Hawkeye, which steals your saved logins, password, and other credentials, and will also monitor your activity to send it to an attacker.
Yeah, it's pretty famous stealer actually, and definitely, as Alexander already told, it steals all the data like the passwords from your FTP client, from the browser, what you push on the keyboard, and so on and so on. So it's a standard stealer. But what's interesting here that they are trying to hide it as a COVID information, and not the information, but trying to make the business with you with the COVID mask production and so on. Yeah, Loki PBS. So we see different types of the infections, COVID-based infections in different countries. For example, here we see the attacks on Korea's companies for different businesses. I mean, it can be energetic, it can be banks, it can be anything else. We found and analyzed it since late March. It's Loki PVS like a stealer. Yeah, the same actually, the other family of the malware, but the same functionality. It's a stealer that steals your information and your data. And so here you see the keywords that you can use to detect these attacks, for example. So here is attack on Korea because of the coronavirus. You should look at this, you should open it, you should download the file. And you know what I wanted to add is that the attackers that craft and create this kind of phishing, they are really good psychology guys. I can tell you one type of, for example, attack that I have seen, and it looks like that's easy to train your staff to prevent such types of attacks. But this process definitely should be ongoing. I mean, you should try and test your staff every year, every time. I mean,
every quarter.
Every quarter, yes, with different types of phishing. Because here's an example. When here's an example. When you receive, for example, you sit on your PC in the company and you receive the email from your top accountant or head of your financial office with the email and with the Excel spreadsheet and the text that here is their calculation of all bonuses for the year for all guys in the company. And after that, in several seconds, you receive the second email from the same guy. Oh, sorry, this please don't open the attachment, it was mistakenly sent. So just think about it's a calculation of all bonuses for all the stuff. You wouldn't open it, you wouldn't see it. I doubt. So this type of attack is really like a 100% success. So please train your staff, it's really important. And we see here that the same Loki PVS was targeting the Canada clients, and the same information about the coronavirus COVID updates. We will see even later that they are even sending the information from World Health Organization and so on and so on. So it's the same. Yes, malicious download Loki PVS, which steals the information from your PC.
And we send such cases to the external resources, coronavirus malware or phishing.com. It's a site which was made from BBC guy who is specialized on information security, and it's a rather good example there.
I think maybe we will send the link to this site. Is it possible?
Sure, sure.
Yeah, we can send this link to the site now in the chat box, and you can, for example, send them the phishing site that you see, the phishing site about the coronavirus, and you can even like an integrate maybe with this site and prevent your workers or your friends or family from visiting the sites and so losing the data and information. Hold on a second.
Yeah, we'll do this soon.
Okay, great. Travel fraud. Yeah, it's finally yours.
Yeah.
Okay, so we do see now that the attacks are happening on different industries. I mean, on all possible industries that can be, I don't know, can be like targeted. Here, when you, for example, you buy some tickets or you rent an apartment in different countries before the COVID, and then you understand that your travel is just like decline. So definitely you're trying to revoke your money, you're trying to take it back, and you will wait for emails, you will wait for some information from traveling companies. That's why
because you want your money back.
yeah. You try to get it back. Yeah, that's why fraudsters are really sending different phishing campaigns, like the cold phishing. I mean, they setting it to any guys, because like anyone trying to get their money back for the rentage or for the travel tickets and so on and so on. And here we see different some phishing sites for traveling companies, and you see that it's really good done. It's done very well, and we see that it's coronavirus. It has some coronavirus updates, or maybe it has information about how to get your money back, and you just put your this is done, for example, the Airbnb is done to steal your real Airbnb credentials, where you have their caching card mapped to the account, so the fraudsters can just log into your account and steal the money from your card, which is mapped there.
And they can use it for another fraud lately, only with help of your Airbnb account, yeah, without credentials from credit cards.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, what people most often do on self-isolation now? Watch the online shows, of course, and communicate with other people. You will not be able to name at least one popular platform for streaming content, for example, that would not have phishing copy. And this is mainly due to the fact that access is paid, and you can be asked for security purposes, of course, to reattach your business card and credit cards, not business cards, sorry, and enter its details to phishing resource. I just want to remind you that attackers monitor all trends worldwide, even better than regular users, and they continue to register phishing domain names with a COVID theme. Here are some fresh from this month, and I think beautiful examples for Netflix, PayPal, Facebook. You can see it's coronainfo24.au for Facebook. For Netflix, it's just from this week, promocovid19.net, netflixcovid19.com, and so on. There are a big list of such domain names which used in phishing attacks.
Yeah, and I want to state, maybe it's not about the subject of this exact conference, but when I see the WhatsApp, I always it always reminds me about different conference applications and so on. So you know that they are getting more and more popularity because of the remote works, and the Zoom had many quarrels about their vulnerabilities and abilities to hack them, and that's why different companies and many users are using like a Cisco WebEx application or GoToMeeting applications and others. And I just wanted to tell you that, for example, have you heard that like a month or two ago there were a type of, not attack, but the Zoom bombing. It named it Zoom bombing. Is when you have the conference room in Zoom, for example, for school training or for school classes, and somebody just tried to connect to your class in the Zoom and tried to like ruin it. with something not legitimate content. That's not really important, but you should care attention of what application are you using, because as you have maybe heard, different Zoom videos and accounts was on the dark market, so anyone can just download it and connect or look and see different information. And yesterday Zoom, as far as I remember, yesterday Zoom presented the new version of Zoom 5.0, and they told that it's much more secure. But actually it doesn't have the end-to-end encryption as it didn't have it now. So the Zoom servers are still having all the videos and still can like see everything you do there. That's why I really I can advise you to use not Zoom or Facebook analog of Zoom that they created like 1 week ago, but use the real enterprise solutions like the WebEx and others. We see one more question: how attackers campaigns like Airbnb on your slide can prevent such phishing attacks using their name?
Okay, they can monitor such domain names, because many of them, you can see, use their brand keywords. They can see phishing on them and rather fast block them with help of such companies.
Additionally, of course, they can notify users. They can create new application and try. Definitely, the best way is to monitor. Try to find the like similar domain names or like a similar content with a brand, and try to prevent them from scratch before they even appear. That's why we use graph to attribute and to look for different like assets of the malicious actors before they even appear. Just looking on the links of the assets in the internet. But the companies like Airbnb and other brands, they can, yes, notify their users to be more like a okay, more concerned about that they can be the victims of different fraudsters. And as we see, many, for example, in different regions in US and here in Russia, we see that financial institutions are doing it. They notify all their clients. And one more question: does domain filtering of sender's email address can prevent such incident completely? You know, completely no. Definitely you should have the anti-phishing and anti-phishing and anti-spam solutions implemented before your email servers, but definitely that cannot save you for sure, because as I already told, the person is the weakest point. I mean, how can you prevent it if you have just their like if you have the list of senders domains that you trust, just these domains, like a white list, you can do it. But in the other way, no. And attackers can use such techniques as impersonation, and that's rather bit difficult to detect this, is when you're trying to create the domain name that is similar to the real sending domain names, for example, your partner, and creating the email that looks like the email from your colleague or your partner guy, the John Smith but not the Airbnb.com, or instead of this, Airbnb1.com, and your system wouldn't be able to automatically detect it. That's why spam systems are okay, but they are not okay when you're against the targeted attacks or APT attacks.
I can say small topic regarding my mother-in-law. She is not an IT specialist, of course. She's a music teacher, and she decided to stop using Zoom after this all this news. Yes.
Yeah, definitely, because that's rather a bit problem now.
Oh, who newsletter? I should remind you how this malware spreading was started, and we have seen and still see actually numerous letters on behalf of WHO, it is World Health Organization, with Loki, its info stealer, and as well as letters on behalf of the WCAI Medical Association with a backdoor netwire on board. In letters, the user calls to download and open the attachment. Types of malware is different in all cases, but the main theme of emails are about the same. Open the attachment, there is a card of infected people, for example, how to protect yourself from the infection by cheap antivirus protection tools, and so on.
And it differs for different countries, but just try to remember that some time ago, like a month or two maybe, it depends on the country, the information of the COVID, how to prevent it, how many people are infected, was of most valuable, was really valuable. I mean, everybody tried to find it, and receiving such like a targeted email from the World Health Organization was really like a weighted stuff. If your company is big and you received such an email that was like, oh, I want to see it. Right now, we all are already have all the information. We know that this phishing is happening, and we know that we can find the information on official sites, all the information about how many people are infected, how many deaths are happening right now, and how the curve is going in different countries. But before, like a month or two ago, it was of really valuable information. So everybody were waiting for such emails. Yeah, the Hawkeye Trojan. You probably know that we have our security solutions and the sandbox solution, which shows the information from the file. You can start it in the isolated environment and see how it goes on in the isolated environment. So try to analyze it. That's why we understand what's the family. We try to attribute their files, and we understand what the family of the malware, and so on and so on. And you can see on the right the example of such attacks that we already told about before. The Hawkeye stealer.
Hawkspy, it's the same.
Oh, Hawkspy, yeah, it's actually the same. Their email from the Chinese company Galaxy Electronic Industrial. In the recipients, there were different companies from different countries, including Russia, and it was from different financial spheres, like energetic, for example, or banks, or like retail. And they just try to tell you that, okay, we started new factory, and if you want to participate in the joint business, or you want to like buy masks, you can see the specification in attachment. And in attachment, you've seen their archive. Inside there were the exe file, the portable exe PE file, which started like this malicious activity, the stealer. And you can see on the right that this file just used another process memory. It has the keylogger. It created the hidden system files, and actually many more activity. We implemented some time ago in our product. We implemented the meter attack matrix, which helps us to understand and helps all the market to understand what types and techniques the exact attackers used in the exact malware. I mean, you know that Meter have created the matrix of all possible activities inside there, how the malicious file works, and how the attackers can do on different stages, like execution, persistent, privilege escalation, and so on and so on. And for this exact file, we see that it provides a persistence with creating the scheduling task, which starts after some time or after the restart, for example, and it awaits the possible defends procedures, it captures the input that we already told that it's stealer, it captures the credentials in files like FTP or browsers, it steals the web session cookies and do many more other malicious activity, and we present it on our meter matrix here. Yeah.
And we see now the question from the auditory. Currently, what are the regions that have been most affected by phishing attacks, or is this a general trend that's been seen worldwide? Actually, we don't have such statistics yet. We are going to do this a bit later with our annual report, or maybe for half a year.
But do we see different regions at all?
Different regions for
APAC regions.
Yeah, for all of them. We see and phishing and malware spreading for all regions worldwide. You can see on your screens the other. It's not regions. It's about sphere, different spheres. Société Générale is bank. By this, we want to show that not a single sphere is ignored by attacker. It is financial organization, which is always an obvious goal. But Maersk, in this case, specializes in freight transportation, and these letters were sent to all companies with malware.
Yeah, and as far as I remember, in the first type of attacks, Alexander told that, hold on, this one, as far as I understand, they just even tailor it, the site, depending on the IP addresses and the language of your browser.
Yeah, settings.
Yeah, exactly. So if you are trying to visit it from, for example, Brazil or Canada,
for example,
you will see the local currencies for this exact market and like a local phone numbers or local information about how many people already bought this product. So it's like a global threat right now, and we see it in different countries. And here I've shown you the Korean and Canada. So yes, we see it worldwide actually. If exe files are restricted from running on a regular user PC, will there be still risk of credential stealing? Definitely. Exe is one of type of dropper or one of package of the file. And I don't know if we will see it in this presentation, the Java runner. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, definitely.
The next slide.
Later we will show you in the next slides, here we will show you the type of attacks without the exe. For example, it can be any Office document with their macros, or it can be the Java file and others. So
or link, for example,
or link file. Yeah. So just preventing the exe files from being starting on user PC wouldn't save you, definitely. And even if you are talking about the PC and the restrictions and the security measures for PC, as you probably know, antivirus is not enough. Antivirus will save you from like all type of attack, the phishing and so on, but from the really sophisticated current targeted attack or sophisticated ransomware attacks and others, only the EDR or EPP solution, the behavioral analysis will help you. Yeah.
On your endpoints.
I mean on your endpoint. Yeah. So
next slide is about
Maersk, we already told, and
your favorite.
My favorite, my favorite, because of really loud name of the guy who sell this malware. So we actually we have seen this and in the wild, but we went deeper and seen this information on the dark web forum, where this dropper or Java loader were sold by their seller with their loud name Fallos of Thanos, and he sold this downloader or dropper or runner and telling that this works and on Windows and on Mac OS, with the only condition that the Java should be installed on the PC. So it was really like a cheap malware coverage where you as a attacker could implement any type of functionality, adding there the stealer, the ransomware, and others. And this package could bypass different security solutions like antivirus, like IDS solutions, and others. So the main way of infection was the normal phishing, sphere phishing, which, as already told, could bypass different security solutions. And the interesting here that after you start this file, you have seen the real information about infection, the good infection map, as you see now on the screen, with information about different countries, with information about new deaths, and so on and so on and so on. And in the background, the malicious activity happened. So the user, the victim of this malware, really received some valuable some value from this.
Yeah.
So he received the real card that he was waiting for, but in the background it was malicious. That's why we should be more patient with the information that we receive and from whom we receive, and not just what is inside.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just like if I started the exe file and nothing happened, then it's malware. No, in some cases you can even receive some value, but it still can be malware.
I think some people can use it as a wallpaper on their PCs. Next slide. We actually have analyzed all mailings with malware since the beginning of the pandemic theme and made such infographics. More often, see the info below this infographic. We saw the spread of spyware, 75%, half as often as backdoors, 31%, but ransomware also met, and we even had the opportunity to work on one of these cases in the wild, and Anton can...
Yeah, I can show you that now. In the next slides, I will show you that now ransomware is really the global threat for small and medium business. For example, as we have seen with you, the start of this new threat appeared in the early 2019. As far as I remember, when the attackers started to encrypt their different companies, starting from enterprise companies, and trying to get their money from them for decrypting it, or for not selling the information from these companies on the hacking forums and so on and so on. And now we see that this threat is going on and even increases for different types of businesses.
And small good news, I think that this week we saw finish of work in some threat group.
Oh yeah.
Which encrypts many of computers around the world, and they decided to share their encryption keys. So you can decrypt your files if you didn't delete it yet. You can use it.
Yeah.
We'll share a link with you. I think.
Try to find it, but I cannot do it now. Actually,
it's on GitHub.
It's on GitHub. Yeah, it was the creator of some really famous ransomwares. Hold on a second.
It was the Russian-speaking guys.
Yeah, but really, yeah, I found it. It was the creator of Shade, Trolldash, and Encoder 858. So it's really famous ransomware, and they just Yeah, put it in their web, all possible decryptor case. So if you were infected with these files and you still have their like archive or backup with the infected computers, you can try to decrypt it. Yeah, and I want to tell you about one small story of an attack that I so happened to be participated in. Hold on a second.
In the wild.
No, I have participated in investigation. So yeah, and how it happens? Just imagine. Yeah, here is the ransomware. Yeah, here is a mistake. Ransomware team of our hacker team created it. Actually, it's not very complex ransomware, and it's like you can just for small companies. And here is how it happens. So the company were trying to do the remote possibility of work, and they just created everything with the RDP server, looking in their internet without the VPN connection, without anything, and that was not updated to the latest version. So that was like with plenty of vulnerabilities, and the attacker attacked this RDP server. So they just come to the PC, and this PC happened to some days ago. The system administrator of this company is connected to this PC to do some system administrator's activities, and they used the Mimikatz to dump his credentials. Then they connected to Active Directory and created the golden ticket, giving them ability to go through all the company with all the services, being as the most important, most major system administrator in the company. Then they encrypted everything, every PC and every server in the company, and even their backup servers, because they just saved the backup on the same machines as anything else with the access from this backup server. So after that, the attackers made the backdoor in Confluent server, but it's never mind. They can do the backdoor in other servers for if the company will even decrypt it and recover the infrastructure, they still had access to the company. So, and they requested their money for 10 bitcoins, as far as I remember.
Yeah, 10 bitcoins.
Exactly, yes. And that's it. And you know what is really interesting here, that this attack was not like a sophisticated, or it could be done only with like a 0 days, yeah, $100,000 USA. Yeah, it was their money that they tried to get from the company. And what is interesting, yes, it was not sophisticated attack. Even script kiddies or some like not really sophisticated hackers could do it. And the only problem here, what it taught us actually, what we should do to prevent such types of attacks. We should update everything we have. Like if we use some, except ICS systems, because they are like built in the rock, yeah, they're built in the rock, so we shouldn't do it. But anything else used to do the critical business processes or anything else should be updated, especially when you are building the remote works. All the PCs, all the VPN servers, definitely you should build the remote access very, very very
carefully.
Very, very carefully. Yeah, and it's the first. The second is that you should do the right backups. Here the rule 3-to-1 means that 3 data backups should be done. 3 different data backups should be done on 2 different medias, and 1 of the offsite backups. But for myself, I can tell you that at least you should do the full backup and incremental backup every day. You should save it on on not inside your network, but on some different opposite locations or on tape. You should restrict the rights to this media. I mean, if your backup server have some credentials inside it, this credential shouldn't give your ability to get or to delete this data. And the third thing is that the access to the company, the access from the VPN server or from with the other technology, the remote access to the company should be restricted, especially to what you with the principle of less privileges. I mean, if your user need access to CRM system, but he doesn't need access to the ERP system, for example, you should prevent him on the network level. You shouldn't give him such access. You shouldn't provide to the attackers the ability to receive access to the critical assets with just having access to one computer or some non-critical worker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's some summary.
Yeah, it's a summary. Yeah, it's a summary of our today's roundtable. What we wanted to talk about, that you should take care of letters and messages that you receive on your PC or smartphone on your laptop. But of course, and especially about the important topics right now, the news and orders regarding COVID, compensations. You should definitely take care of sites where you go. Is it malicious or not? You should take care of files that you receive, it is malicious or not. If you are not sure, send it to your system administrator or to the security specialist, or at least put it to Virus Total or some other places like this to check if this file is malicious or not.
If this is not a private letter, of course.
Yes, definitely.
And you can send such letter to our company for response at groupib.com or .ru, it depends. We could help you with classification, and sometimes we could block some violations in the internet.
Yeah, so please protect yourself from COVID and from COVID attackers. Yeah, thank you a lot. It's information about our company. Yeah, I think everybody have already heard this. We are one of the leading international providers of high fidelity threat intelligence and anti-fraud solution and security solutions. More than 1,000 successful investigations all over the world, and headquartered in Singapore. So that's it. Information about us. Yes. Actually, we are done with our main topic. Maybe you have some additional questions which we can answer about this topic or about any other topics, maybe in security. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, we don't see any questions. So yeah, thank you a lot, either. Thank you for joining us in such a difficult period of time, and we're happy to provide this roundtable, and we are waiting for you on the next roundtables, on the next topics, and we will be happy to tell you more about current threats and how to protect yourself against them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye, colleagues.
Bye.